Hey everybody, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA. I own Choice Tax Relief, where we help folks who owe the IRS or their state at least $10,000 in back taxes. And when we're dealing with the IRS for a particular client, we're generally talking to one of two people, okay, or two kinds of people. All right. The first kind of person is someone in the IRS's ACS or Automated Collection System department. This is basically a call center. I mean, it's not one big call center. They're kind of spread out throughout the country. Some of them work from home. But basically, when you call into ACS, you're getting a different person every time to discuss your client's case. Okay, different person every time. No one person at the IRS assigned to a taxpayer's case, to their balance due case. Most taxpayers who owe the IRS are in ACS, IRS Automated Collection System. Now, the second group of folks that we interact with on behalf of our clients are IRS revenue officers or ROs. If your balance due with the IRS is assigned to an IRS revenue officer, that means that you have one specific, generally quite experienced IRS collections officials assigned to your case with the IRS. And it is their job to collect money from you, to procure unfiled returns from you that are required. And this can be a very scary place to be, okay? Because you're not just dealing with the telephone operators anymore. You get a new one every time, but you're dealing with a revenue officer who is specifically assigned to you, and they become very familiar with your personal situation, with your circumstances, how much you owe, et cetera, et cetera. And RP Project Boys has a question about revenue officers that I'm going to answer right now. How do you know if you have a revenue officer assigned? Well, RP Project Boys, the easiest way, the most passive way to know or to learn if you have an IRS revenue officer assigned is to wait for correspondence from them. Yes, these days the IRS is sending out this letter 725B. The revenue officer sends this out. You can see 725B at the bottom right. Basically, it's a revenue officer scheduling an appointment with you, and it'll have the the date and time there, right? Notice of appointment. We assigned your tax matter to a field revenue officer for investigation, right? Plain as day. Hey, you're with an RO now, all right? I've covered the letter 725B in more detail in another video right here on this channel. Link to that video at the upper right hand corner of your screen. So of course you could wait for mail to see if you've been assigned a revenue officer, or you can just call the IRS and you can ask them, hey, do I have a revenue officer assigned, or am I in queue for revenue officer? And they should be able to tell you, because sometimes you're not assigned to revenue officer yet, but you're in the ROQ, which means you're in queue. Your case is waiting to be assigned to a revenue officer. And the person you talk to at the IRS over the phone, they may not be able to give you the revenue officers, if you've already been assigned one, their direct contact information. You'd probably have to wait for the 725B or some other correspondence from the RO or the RO's office to get that information. But they should be able to give you the general phone number for the office that your assigned revenue officer works at in the IRS. And then when you call that number, someone there should be able to help you get connected with your revenue officer. Okay. And when you do talk to that revenue officer, you want to get their name, their phone number, their fax number, and their manager's name, phone number, and fax number. Because sometimes if things start going off the rails with a revenue officer, you say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. Talk to someone more experienced than you about this case, who may know what I'm talking about more than you do. And of course, the buck doesn't just stop with the manager. There's other avenues of appeal and whatnot if both the RO and their manager don't agree with you. But yeah, I think I'm getting kind of too ahead of myself here. That's how you know if you have a revenue officer assigned. Either you get a letter in the mail informing you as such, assuming that your address with the IRS has been updated, right? They're going to go off their last known address, which is the address on your last processed federal tax return, or if you gave them a change of address notice, they'll go with that, obviously. So, or of course, you can just call the IRS and ask them where your account is at. So yeah, folks, I'm Logan Alec. Like I said, I own Choice Tax Relief. We help folks in tax trouble. You owe at least $10,000 to the IRS. You have at least 2 years of unfiled returns. You qualify for a free consultation with one of my tax consultants. To schedule that, go ahead and give us a call. 866-8000-TAX. That's 866-8000-829. Or go to our website, choicetaxrelief.com. Fill out the form there, and we will reach out to you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I have some other videos here on the left-hand side of the screen about revenue officers, about IRS Letter 25B, et cetera, et cetera. I do hope you enjoy those very, very much. Thanks, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.